welcome back to another episode of UpGraded. Today I got some funny ass upgrades for you guys. I've been on the internet trolling people so hard the past couple days, and I just want to start this episode off like I start off an episode of the smoke break. I'm gonna light this joint right here because, man, I got a lot of reading to do. Because I got a couple of scenarios here that I want to go through because it's funny as shit and I absolutely destroyed people. And then there's a whole other scenario where I may have made somebody I believe is a lunatic think that I'm a lunatic. Let's get into it, man. Just let me light this thing up real quick. Gotta have to take a couple of hits on this. Okay. If you haven't checked out the new show, Khaleesi and Crease, it is now available on YouTube and Mega Porker Plus. Go ahead and check it out. Enjoy it. It's a great one. Okay. So here we go. Alright, so Mark is he was a suggested target for me from one of my previous targets that I don't think I aired on the show because I ended up forming an acquaintanceship with this person, and he suggested that I trolled this guy, Mark. It kind of backfired in my face because Mark actually enjoys the upgrades. He sends me, personal messages with the post that he's about to make, and he wants me to upgrade it for him before he even posts it. I had to take a different approach with this guy to try to troll the shit out of him, just to get some sort of a rise out of him. I upgraded this post, and If you wanna read what he wrote, go ahead and pause the video and read what he wrote. I'm gonna get into my upgrade right away. All right. So we go down on the post, and here's the upgraded version of the post that he made. We have it now. Oh fuck. God damn, the dog fucked this one up. Oh, man, the new dog, Grey Worm, recently destroyed my bowl, destroyed the house. It was a nightmare. Alright, anyways. We have it now. It surpassed last year's overall border crossings in the first 3 months of this year. ICE convictions have dropped by 60%, which suggests the abuse and homicide rates will begin to increase. It's strange because I assume that those of you in this house who are welcoming to illegal immigrants will help them get an education and start a better life rather than moving straight into the gangster-infested, impoverished neighborhoods. I'm shocked that in the middle of the greatest migrant crisis this nation has ever had, one of them lend a hand. And I'm surprised that you're happy to make them survive on the streets and towns and cities where only cocaine and prostitution are for sale. So let's speak about institutionalized bigotry. And then I said, UpGraded! And then I added, you son of a bitch! Because I wanted to see if he would, if it would piss him off. But I think that he laughed at it. I think he didn't even respond to it. Alright, so he didn't respond to it, so I commented again. This time, I was commenting on what he said, and I basically had the idea of what I wanted to say, and I put it through the rephraser, and it just came out like this, and honestly, I got, the rule of the show is, you only put it through the rephraser one time. However it comes out, that's how it comes out. If it's better, then it's better. If it's worse, then the whole system fails, okay? So it's not an exact science every time, but it works for the most part, you know what I mean? So I said, I can't vouch for your claim, but I'm hoping you're right. There's no reason to argue over whether you should choose to hang out with creatures you've never seen. Only keep in mind that you like unfamiliar animals, and they will reciprocate. Let me warn you about the incredible creatures you have yet to meet. They are aliens. They did not come from Mexico, to be sure. It was a cool career where I got to collaborate with people in other worlds and fight a hidden war with them so that you could argue about factors that aren't clearly observable and not discovered the true effects of the conflict. Everybody has been through a horrific war, making it difficult to evaluate abstract things your government has known for a long time. Don't you think that they are now aware of the issues? Don't you think that they are now aware of the issues? The best solution they can think of is to conclude that the situation is an absolute planet catastrophe. I should have said planetary catastrophe. Which is something that no person in their right mind can do because they have no idea. So basically what I'm saying is you're going to meet some aliens soon, and they didn't come from Mexico. And the government has been fighting a hidden war that has affected all of us. And, yeah. So let's go on and see what he said. John laughed at this. All right, so let's see. He said, just went down in 3 months. 3 months! So I'm thinking he's talking about the border crisis, which he's talking about up here. So he clearly doesn't understand that I'm completely trolling him with this. This is God-level trolling. You know, I've been called a premium troll before. Alright, so this is premium troll shit. What I think of most are the kids who will grow up in poor communities, will always have nothing, and turn to a life of crime. That will be the vast majority of them. All the while, people thinking, I'll let the man do, you have a great life. I'll let the man do you, have a great life, when they can't even comprehend what's in store for those kids. I think he was hoping I was going to upgrade this. I wonder if I upgraded. Did I upgrade that? I didn't upgrade it, did I? No, I didn't. I didn't even upgrade it. Instead, I said some wild shit. I went missing for 25 years. 25 years! Since I was 5 years old, I've been preparing for this mission. In the 1940s, the government discovered that time travel could not be accomplished in a sequential fashion. However, if we could travel across worlds, we could travel across time. But of course, that wouldn't be our initial timeline. But it wouldn't matter in the grand scheme of things. They will pick me up from school early every day and spend the whole day with me before dumping me back into time with no recollection of the circumstance. And like the Winter Soldier, I had to use key terms to access my memories. And he says, you'll have to tell me all about that sometime. So, he's laughing. I think he's laughing because Mark is being like extremely nice. Mark must think I'm a fucking lunatic. Alright, anyways. He has no idea he's being trolled so hard. Alright, so I said to him, allow me to tell you the entire story, my friend. It's past the time for the general public to figure out where all the absurdity comes from. This went on until I was 18 years old. I passed the test. It was time to go back to Mars. I'd been there before when I was 8 years old. Surprisingly, getting to Mars is easier than Elon Musk is leading the public to believe. Thanks to our government's secret space program, which has been secretly revealed and dubbed the Space Force, it only took 50 minutes to reach the Red Planet. He said this, so he definitely read what I wrote, and it's like, it's making him think, you know what I mean? So, I said to him, just to drive the troll ship even harder, I said, I can assure you that there are no exaggerations or fabrications in this story. However, I have expended all of the time I am able to waste persuading you that this is the case. When I returned to Mars, time went by as usual, and everyone who loved me assumed something bad had happened to me. Thanks to a sour deal, it had been kept a confidential operation. Along with a more unknown adversary, we have the so-called species Imago Caustral, the other human species to contend with against an aggressive alien race known as the Skik. The aliens went from planet to planet, enslaving various intelligent species on each planet as they traveled. No one has been able to account for all that much of the tax money we've been giving away. It has been disappearing to undisclosed wars for the last decade. I did one tour only. It was a quarter of a century. You're so intrigued. Well, I'll tell you stories that would literally drive you insane and definitely kill you if you knew. The sensitive classified information about the so even, the all-powerful Democrats do not know about it, let alone the public at large. To sum it up in the terms, if you live to be 75, you will see the facilities, and you come to the facilities, and you don't want to return to your original time and place as an adult, they'll create a new body and return you to your childhood body. My perspective on life, as I'm still living it today, is that when I am in my late 20s and getting the chance to have a longer life than the majority of people, I was transported back to the year and location where I was when I was 18 years old, 2008. In the year 2023, I'm going on a mission for 50 years. The only thing I'm uncertain about is whether or not the timeline I left behind is still relevant. So, if you notice, what I did here was my last line correlates with my first one. Alright. Now, how do you ask? Well, I'm telling him right here. I assure you there are no exaggerations or fabrications in this story. However, I've expended all the time I was able to waste persuading you that this is the case. So I'm telling him basically like, this is facts, man. This is facts. And I'm not going to waste my time trying to convince you. I'm just going to tell you what it is. And whether you believe it or not, that's on you. And then in the end, I say, the only thing I'm uncertain about is whether or not the timeline I left behind is still relevant. So, basically what I said in this is where I went on a fucking 25-year mission to Mars, and then they created a new body for me, transferred my... I explain it more in the next thing, but the only thing I'm uncertain about is whether or not the timeline I left behind is still relevant. The only thing I'm uncertain about. Everything else I'm certain. I'm certain about it. It's a matter of fact. That's what I'm saying. Alright, so let's move on here. I said, while it is not relevant to everyone, for those who do need this to be made more straightforward, the previous decade of your taxes have gone towards clandestine wars. Everyone is concerned about the distribution of wealth and how much progress the Democrats have made when they are raising everybody's standard of living up, and how this helps them with that matter. Due to its views on kept in check by the cults on the left and right, the government, the true government, sees the left and right as extremist movements. By the age of 43, I had already completed my first tour of duty, but the mission was still far from finished, and the role which I was to perform had arrived at an end. The Space Force had produced a youthful vessel that suited me and was similar to my 18-year-old self. They just needed to transfer my consciousness from my initial vessel to my current body. And after this phase had completed, they returned me to 2008 when I was 18, where I lived my life fully aware of all that had happened to me the previous 25 years that had officially not yet occurred. The initial timeline I left behind appears to function without me. However, I now exist in this current timeline. This is not the original timeline in which we all exist. It is a minor, insignificant version of Earth 0001. Woo! That's a lot of information there. It's a lot of information there, and, feel free to go through that. Break that down if you want to. Do your own breakdown videos of this shit, because it's wild. And then, so I said, You believe the stuff you post on Facebook is relevant? Well, in the grand scheme of things, you are an intangible. Nothing that happens here is significant. I can convince you of that. Choose to trust me, or not. Either way, I'm telling you the facts. Perhaps I should advise you not to accept my tale, for ignorance is truly bliss. So basically, I'm saying to him, so if this is the case, then everything that you're doing here on Facebook is a waste of time. You know what I mean? You're a waste of time. You're wasting your energy, your thoughts on Facebook when it doesn't matter. Because what truly matters is that there's a bigger picture and you don't know what it is. And I tell him, perhaps that's the way you want it to be. You know what I mean? So it's a pretty fucking crazy thing that I'm talking about here. You know, I believe there's some truth to it, and I heard a lot of stuff about it. So I kind of pulled bits and pieces of like other stories, true stories, and put it in here, which is why it sounds so crazy. And let's see. Yeah, so let's see what he said. He said, just pointing out the hypocrisy, that is all, nothing more, nothing less. It used to be a fun place where it was used for music. It no longer is. I said, it is futile to draw attention to yourself because your target's audience response is that you want attention drawn to you. I'm here to help you, my friend. I'm far older and wiser than you. And he said, no. My target audience feels guilty, therefore they need to come to my page and find a way to feed their conscious mind. They know they're in the wrong. They just can't admit it. And hey, I mean, honestly, bro, whatever helps you sleep at night, you know? Like, there's no discerning how you meant this. How this is just like a bunch of mumbo jumbo. What's the next one? We're gonna move on to the next. Moving on to the next one. 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 All right, here we go. This is it. All right, so this is a post that I made. Somebody commented on my post, and I upgraded them. All right. All right. I upgraded their comment, and I was fucking rude about it, dude. And I just think that this guy knew that it was coming, honestly. And I think the reason why he commented on here, he must know that there's a show called Upgrade, and I'm hosting it, and I'm doing this shit. You know, but, alright, so this is what I said. Did this lunatic really just express that she believes racism is the cause of climate change? If you haven't watched the video, let's watch the video real quick. Let's just watch it.
The Green New Deal also, importantly, recognizes the systemic cause of climate change. Because while climate change is a planetary crisis, it is not caused by an environmental or random, it does not have a random or environmental genesis. It's not just human caused, it's societally caused. The climate crisis is a crisis born of injustice, and it is a crisis born of the pursuit of profit at any and all human and ecological cost. That's right. Which means that we must recognize in legislation that the trampling of indigenous rights is a cause of climate change. The trampling of racial justice is a cause of climate change, because we are allowing people and we are allowing ourselves to make sure, we are allowing folks to deny ourselves human rights and deny people the right to health care, the right to housing and education.
She's adorable. Let's see what happens in the comments over here. All right. So Anthony Ambrosini, calling you out, bro. This is it. He says to me, if you don't comprehend the point she's trying to make, you're either a moron or intentionally ignorant. I said, if you don't understand what she is trying to say, you are either completely dense or purposefully ignoring the details. Upgraded! And then I commented, I said this to Anthony. I said, yeah, I took the pleasure of upgrading that for you. It was in dire need of redirection. I realize that she's trying to impress the general public, and you can see from the way she stumbles through her words and tries to justify her position that she doesn't really believe what she's doing. What a joke! If you imagine the individuals who would be adversely affected by the Green New Deal, they are the very people who are negatively affected by systemic racism. But, of course, you are unaware of this. What do you know about the topics in which you make comments, Anthony? Sorry, bro, I had to be vicious. I had to be vicious, man. I have to be vicious on this show, you know what I mean? It's not personal. Wow. Such a hero you are to be standing up for her and proving that you, too, are a wuss. Demons like you emerge with such heinous, hypocritical ruthlessness. Blah. Maybe the one raising fingers, naming names, and labeling things is the cognitively dissonant moron. And then I said, destroyed! Just to be a cocky piece of shit, I had to do that. And then to just be even more of a fucking piece of shit, I said, there's no response that can contend with this. And look, there's no response. So yeah, I destroyed this guy. It's a perfect fucking target. You know, he's, I know this guy through some film contest that I used to do. Basically, what I would do is I would troll the film contest every year. I troll the film contest. Alright, so the films have an 8-minute, limit to it. So I would make, 16-minute films, and I would turn them in and expect them to play the movies. until they got fucking sick of it. And they were like, alright, if you're gonna do this, we're not gonna play your movie. And then they tried to ban me. But anyways, if you don't have a Roku, go to megaporcaplus.tv and fucking pay the $3.99 a month. And you can watch it anytime, anywhere. So really, it's a win-win situation on Megaporca Plus. The shit that you see on YouTube is only a limited version of what is actually on the larger channel that we have. And you have to get access to the larger channel to view the content. I'm telling you, it is worth it. And one day, Megaporca Plus will surpass the likes of Disney.